Hi guys, so I just watched a video. There's a recent video just came out with on Star Talk channel with Neil deGrasse Tyson and Chuck, and of course they had a guest, Robert M. Sapolsky. Sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrongly. And the topic was the illusion of free will, and there was a lot discussed about the idea that we as humans we know ourselves to have free will, but after some understanding, we can see that we don't. And the reason is simple. We are made up of choices. We in the present are made up of choices that have strung themselves up in the past to decide the person that we are in society, in time, with our judgments of other people. And so you can see where this is leading to, which is the fact that nobody can hold this you accountable. Not really, or in that sense, not really. Nobody should hold this you accountable for the mistakes you've made, because you didn't choose per se. You didn't. You were basically a subject of that choice. You were a victim of your past, in a sense. And it's an interesting idea, God, because actually towards the end of the podcast, Neil had something to say, had a question for Robert and Chuck. I was like, oh, what kind of Santa would you make? And I really wanted to answer that question because it was so interesting. Like, okay, so what kind of Santa will you make if, of course, Santa has to come during Christmas and then judge the kids and say, oh, have you been good? Have you been bad? If you've been bad, you get a punishment. If you've been good, you get a gift. You see? And so it's like, oh, okay, Santa, how do you judge me, knowing that I don't have free will? It wasn't my choice. I was acting based on a set of preternatural causes that have brought me to this place in time, and so I can't be held responsible for the bad things that I did. And so, okay, so how is Santa supposed to judge that? And of course, I didn't explore it extremely. And this is something I'm very passionate about, how we treat children, because I see it as a mirror or measure of how far we are going to go in the universe, and how far and how reflective we are of our choices and our decisions. So, like, if I was Santa, to answer your question, new, if I was Santa, I'd ask the kid what he wanted to experience. Do you want to be punished for the bad deeds you've done? And he'd say no. And he'd say, so what would you like for me to do to you? And the kid probably be like, oh, okay, if you're going to give me like 3 sweets, then you can just give me 2. And I'd be like, oh, okay, fine. So you recognize that you recognize that you did something wrong and you want to be punished for it. And the kid, but not too much. And the kid, they say, yes, just take away 1 so I'll learn my lesson. And then you can actually reward that and say, oh, that's good. It's good. I don't want to punish you, but I also want to reward you, especially because you are able to come to terms with the fact that you did something and you want to change in that thing. That's enough for me to say, hey, take 1 extra. So instead of me to give you 3 as agreed, or even reduce it, I'll give you more for recognizing your place, the fact that you've struck a balance in your behavior and you're aware of the situation. So yeah, that's how I will answer that question of how to treat the kid if I was Santa. Now, I don't have white beards, Robert. I have tiny African hair. But I guess you can lend me your beards if I have to. Now, just to round this episode off, because my hands are already heavy. The position taken with the arguments with regards to free will seem to center on positive change. And Robert also gave a quantity, a measure. He said 600 years. 600 years might be enough for us to begin to be aware of how to judge people. And I once asked this question in the past. I said, if a person kills another person, should we kill that person as a way to punish them? And everybody was like, yes. I was in a bus then. And then they almost beat me up because, like, I seem to be taking the opposite idea with it. As like, oh, how can you not kill somebody who has killed another person? If it's your mom that was killed, wouldn't you kill the person back? And the solution to this question seemed to be that we feel like a punitive measure, even something as capital as death, might be necessary to inform some sort of change in society. Whereas it's not. We've not changed the aspect, the causes, the cause and effect that led up to the moments where that person decided to kill another person. We've not changed it. Neither have we changed the. Neither have we helped society in any way. You see, you've not studied or understood the person and his brain chemistry and his composition and exactly why he has done this thing. You've only instead choose to strike the person out as a way to heal society. But it's not changing anything. Why? Because we all are like that person. Right? So, to spin off, to center down on the thing that I'm trying to explain properly is positive change, yes, might be helping the person to understand or study the person, or at least positive change might be a way of looking at our actions and not judging ourselves for it, but instead looking back at the string of causes that have led up to this action and trying to understand it for the betterment of society. But I fear that we may go too deep into that. And why is that? Because the drive to effect positive change is what has led us to this moment in time where, of course, our outdated modes of correction, such as fixing them things by taking the person to a observatory or like a clinic to try to study them. The drive to fix things often takes away from the necessary action of basically observing it. And Robert did actually kind of summarize this in that talk where he said, look, punitive measures, yes, but more importantly, the ability to sit and understand exactly how their decisions, all their actions have led up to, like how their history has led up to who they are. So instead of thinking about it in a way of saying, oh, I want to understand this in order to fix that action that you have done, for example, like in the example I give, capital punishment or killing somebody, instead of me to try to fix the crime of manslaughter by understanding how people, what has led up to that particular position in time, or in their minds, or in their upbringing or social conditioning, instead of trying pinning the problem in the air and trying to solve it alone. Ability to understand the problem means to transcend it and to kind of look at exactly where else can I see this same pattern resolving itself in my reality clearly. Because that is just one piece of a pattern. Also, the fact that we have chosen capital punishment as a way to solve problem of manslaughter and crime, and manslaughter, is something to understand, because it is also evolved out of our illusion of free will and our decision to try to effect positive change instead of understanding. So we can entirely begin to create a new set of circumstances, a new set of solutions for our actions or for the problems of society, or trying to create some sort of fix for social conditioning. We can begin to do that and get stuck in the same problem again, where we just have an advanced form of capital punishment for people who commit murder or manslaughter. And it will just we'll just keep reveling in the problem, and it will be a perpetual cycle of endless doom, because we haven't truly started to understand it. So the two negatives I've pointed out in this argument is the problem of manslaughter and our desire to effect positive change by stepping back and understanding it, but also the solution that we have brought for manslaughter, which is capital punishment, death, and the fact that it has arisen from our desire to solve social problems. We do not want to create a situation where our study of manslaughter and how to fix it, i.e., positivity, will lend us to creating higher problems, such as, a new form of punishment for it. Because then we have not gone anywhere. They were just cycling in the same spot. And, it's a recipe for disaster and a way to just keep miring the same situation again. If you've made it this far, thank you. This is XLR, and follow if you want to see more of this. And I hope this video gets to Neil deGrasse Tyson somehow. I don't know, but if you think about it, maybe you can buy me a Santa Claus beard so I can wear it for my next video. Thank you for watching, and this is me.